Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into one of philosophy's oldest and, let's be honest, toughest questions, the problem of suffering.
That one powerful question is really the foundation of what we call the problem of evil, and it's a core challenge to religious belief. So, let's really dig into the logic behind it.
And the argument, it's actually pretty straightforward, right? It's that the existence of just so much suffering seems to completely contradict the idea of an all-loving, all-powerful God.
The philosopher David Hume, he framed this perfectly. He basically said, look, is God willing to stop evil, but he can't? Well, then he's not all-powerful. Is he able to, but he's not willing? Then he sounds pretty mean, right? Malevolent. But if he's both able and willing, then where does all this evil come from? It feels like a checkmate, a real logical trap.
And modern philosophy took this idea and sharpened it into something called the inconsistent tetrad. Tetrad just means a group of four. The argument goes like this. You've got these four beliefs that people often hold, but they can't all be true at the same time. 1. God is omnipotent, all-powerful. 2. God is omniscient, all-knowing. 3. God is wholly good. And 4. Evil exists. The claim is you can pick any three, but you can't have all four. If those first three things are true, then that fourth one, evil exists, just logically shouldn't be possible.
And this argument really hits hardest when you think about what philosophers call gratuitous suffering. A fawn burning in a forest fire, a baby born with a terrible disease. It just seems so pointless, right? Like it serves no higher purpose. And this, right here, is where we find the key, the hidden assumption that the whole argument is built on. It assumes that a loving God would define love the same way we often do, as something that's supposed to prevent any and all discomfort, right now.
So the Quranic response to this whole problem, it doesn't start by trying to make excuses for pain. Instead, it does something pretty radical. It challenges the very definition of love that the whole argument depends on.
And this is where you see this huge shift in perspective. On one side, you have the atheist argument, which basically assumes love is like a sentimental shield. Its only job is to stop you from getting hurt. But on the other side, the Quranic idea presents love as active goodwill. It's a force that's working towards our ultimate long-term flourishing, not just making sure we're comfortable in the short term.
So the Quran introduces this divine attribute, Al-Wadud. And this isn't just some warm, fuzzy feeling. It's an active goodwill that you can't separate from wisdom and justice. Think about it like this. A master blacksmith uses intense heat and pressure to forge a piece of steel into a strong, useful blade. They don't just wrap it in velvet and keep it on a shelf, right? That would keep it safe, sure, but it would never reach its potential. The process is tough, but the goal is perfection. So, if love isn't just about stopping pain, then what on earth is the point of suffering in this kind of system?
So with this new idea of love as this active, purposeful force, the Quran presents suffering in a totally different light. It's not some cosmic mistake or a bug in the system, it's a catalyst, a tool with a four-part interconnected function.
And this framework breaks it down into four main jobs that hardship has. First, it's a moral and spiritual test. It shows what we're really made of. Second, it's an empathy catalyst. When we see suffering, it's supposed to spark us into action to help each other. Third, it's like a soul-building gymnasium, It's where we develop virtues like resilience and patience or sabr. And fourth, it's all part of a system of what you could call deferred justice. It's a guarantee that in the end, every single action will be accounted for in a final, perfect cosmic balance.
All right, so now that we have this framework, let's circle back. Let's go and take another look at that original atheist argument and see if it really holds up under this new lens.
The logical power of that argument, it's not quite as airtight as it seems at first. It actually relies on two huge, unstated assumptions that most of us never even think to question. First up is something we can call temporal myopia. Myopia just means nearsightedness, right? So this is the mistake of judging this massive, eternal story when you've only seen page 1. It's the fallacy of assuming that the most important thing, the highest good, is whatever feels good to me right here, right now. And the second one is this idea that if we, with our limited human brains, can't figure out a good reason for some specific bit of suffering, well then there must not be one. Not even for a creator who knows everything. It's a classic intellectual trap, assuming that what we can see is all there is to see.
And this leads to a really fascinating paradox, because if you wanted to build that painless world that the argument demands, you'd run into this impossible three-way choice. To get rid of evil caused by humans, you'd have to destroy free will. You'd have to turn us all into puppets. To get rid of natural disasters, you'd have to get rid of the laws of nature, creating total chaos where nothing is predictable. And to make sure no action has a bad consequence, you'd have to get rid of ultimate justice, meaning nothing we do really matters in the long run.
So when you put all of these pieces together, this framework doesn't just answer the question. It leads you to a completely different conclusion about what our world is and what our role in it is.
So this totally reframes the debate. From this Quranic viewpoint, the atheist argument is kind of like someone hearing a single, sad, low note in the middle of a grand symphony and declaring that because of that one note, there must be no composer, or if there is, he's a terrible one.
But what if that low note, that very moment of sadness, what if that's the thing that provides the depth, the contrast that makes the final masterpiece so incredibly beautiful and meaningful?
And that leads us with this final, really provocative question to think about. Is suffering just a cosmic glitch in a cold, random universe? Or is it the rigor of a cosmic curriculum? Is it a flaw, a bug in the system? Or is it a feature, a difficult for sure, but maybe a necessary part of a grand design meant for our ultimate growth?